Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back. I'm Rachel Sawani, spiritual medium, intuitive coach, and ascension guide. And today I'm going to be bringing forward a collective reading for the lunar eclipse and full moon in Scorpio happening this Friday, May 5th. And also, I'll be bringing in a reading for the twin flames. So, some twin flame updates, what's going on there. And also, I have some galactic updates to share. And then towards the end, we'll be getting into a couple of questions that came through from my Patreon members about just all the energies coming in and how everybody's been feeling them. So, hello everyone. Thanks for joining today. Hello. Hi. Hi, Marnie. Hi, Terry. So, yes, where to start? Well, I have a lot to share. So, I need to move somewhat fast through this, but not too fast. I did a lot of preparation for this. So I have a lot of cards pulled already, a lot going on my desk, a lot of notes. Also, I'm going to start with just the general outline of how today's session is going to go. Basically, I'm going to I'll share some announcements, then I will share the collective reading I did with the twin flames and the updates that have been coming through around twin flames. Then we'll get into the lunar eclipse, full moon in Scorpio energies, and we'll do a reading with that. And we'll add in the galactic updates that I want to share. And then we will get to some of the Patreon members who had questions and wanted some channeled guidance around ascension and what's happening. And we'll end with a final card and a group message. So, all right. So I will timestamp this video though, just so for those of you watching the replay can find what you're interested in more easily that way. But yeah, so the announcements. Okay, so I'm going to start by sharing just a couple announcements. I had scheduled last week a pre-recorded channeled event with John Lennon, who I'm very excited to bring forward, and a lot of my patrons have some really good questions for him. Unfortunately, I had to postpone that. Hopefully, I'll get to that this week, but I'll definitely get to that soon. He's next on my list, but unfortunately, I just had so much coming through with all these solar flares and everything happening that, like, Thursday, it took me for a ride, and then it came into Friday, Saturday, that I was just receiving a lot of different downloads, but also doing my own emotional healing work. So, but that's kind of what I'm going to bring into this reading here as well, because a lot of that does have to do with the twin flame energies that I feel are getting stronger on the planet. So, yeah, I'll be getting to him soon, but he was around kind of, helping me through a little bit of that too, as well, showing up for me. But so look forward to that coming up. I'll share some of that on YouTube, but some of that will also be on my Patreon. And then tomorrow on Divine Soul Awakening, our live spiritual talk show that I host with other mediums and healers, will be going live tomorrow with one of my coaching clients who I've been working with for about a year now, Matt Hassel, and he'll be sharing some really interesting stories about his accelerated ascension process, literally starting from ground zero and moving into multidimensionality and memories of past lives and astral healing work and working with the ascended masters. So he has a lot of really interesting stories to share about what that actually means, accelerated ascension, and what some of the benefits are, what some of the warnings are, moving fast track on your spiritual path. So definitely tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. on my YouTube, but also there's other YouTube channels like Con Knight who will be sharing that as well. So tune in for that. And another thing I'm working on getting out creating is a session in my Patreon soon. I hope to do this like in the next week or two, about soul work in dream time. And because I've noticed that a lot of my soul integration and healing work has been occurring in my dreams. And I've also been talking to others who seem to be having more profound experiences in their dreams and in the astral realms. So I really want to create a group, a private group, meeting time so we can kind of talk about that in our Patreon community. So I'll be setting that up hopefully soon and sharing out what day and time that will be coming up. I'm curious though if you guys in the comments have been having some interesting dreams. But basically, there is a lot going on in our dream time because we are multidimensional. So it'll be interesting to learn more about that. And I'll probably bring in maybe an archangel, Archangel Jeremiah. I've been picking up on that helps us with dreams and interpreting our dreams, and works with us in other ways as well. So, or Jeremiah. Did I say Jeremiah? Jeremiah, I think, is what I wrote, but it could be Jeremiah. I might have just wrote that really fast. Anyway, so that's something to look forward to that I'll be announcing soon. Um, but yeah, so let me check the comments. I'll try to keep up with those as much as possible while I'm moving along because again, I have a lot to cover. Oh, hi Cynthia. Hello. No worries. Yeah, I was wondering who that was. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. No worries. I totally understand. In fact, this is probably the first day in like 3, 4, 5 days that I've really been feeling 100% myself, I should say, and really tuned into spirit. It's been up and down roller coaster like ride. Definitely periods of needing to like retreat, rest and retreat, and then periods where I'm getting downloads and feeling more tuned in. And it's just been back and forth. So we'll kind of go into that a little bit too, I think, through the reading and what maybe comes out in that as well. But oh, sorry. Yeah, my internet, I forgot I need to plug it in um to the cable internet, but I didn't do that this time. I remember last time there was some freezing going on with the picture, so I apologize for that. If my connection is not that strong. It says it is, but then on live stream it says it's not. So, ooh, that might be a continuing thing. Um Oh, good, Terry. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I was curious to see if any of you would be interested in that. So I was just kind of putting that out there. And Marnie's having some very interesting dreams lately. Yeah, it's definitely cool to talk about that in a group setting. Awesome. Yeah, yes, exactly. Yes, that's one of the things that I've been also having happen in my dreams that wasn't really happening before. I'm just becoming more aware of the actual emotions that I'm transmuting or releasing or purging in dream time, and it's really interesting. Okay, so let's start with I want to start with the twin flame stuff because that's really what's been the most relevant in my life, in terms of what I've just been noticing. And I guess I'm not the only one because as I was going through this tremendous sort of healing integration work, starting on Thursday, moving into, yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it was pretty full on. And then Sunday, it started to sort of get resolved. But yeah, I had Amanda Ellis, who I watch. She's a medium who also channels Archangel Metatron and many of the other guides that I channel. She channels as well, and it was interesting that she was also picking up. She came out with this twin flame reading, which just like about saved my life in a sense because it was just like the divine timing to hear her talk about the subject to help me kind of pull in and get a broader perspective of why I was feeling all these energies coming in and how that was affecting like my own inner process of balancing the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. And so I definitely recommend watching that. She gives a really spiritually mature perspective on twin flames and really explains that concept quite well. And she also touches on the idea that there's been some psychic attacks coming at twin flames recently, which I've also been noticing. And it's mostly in the online communities and certain teachers that teach on that topic. And she shares more on that in her video. But basically, I think the psychic attacks come in many different forms, but ultimately, the twin flame energy is really high vibrational, and it's all about coming into union with source and your highest divine counterpart. And so been a lot of hijacking and distortion of the codes and the frequencies, and trying to keep people from meeting their true twin flames, and trying to keep people off the path of that, and coming in, and also not coming into union um on their path. So yeah, so some people are out there saying, like, it's devil energy and all of this, which um without going too much into that, basically, yeah, there are some definitely pitfalls in that that are there for the twin flames to kind of like get caught up in, sometimes, obsessive thinking, and coming from a lower vibrational place or chakra, trying to be too focused externally on finding your twin flame can definitely lead to some yeah, not the right frequency that you're trying to bring in when you're actually trying to magnetize your twin flame. But it's really mostly about soul healing work, and really connecting to your own divinity, and connecting to source, and doing the work that's necessary to clear all the trauma so that you can be your truest, highest core soul frequency expression. And then that will translate into um, hopefully bringing your divine counterpart in more into union energetically with you. So I don't want to get on to like what twin flames are and all of that in this video, but I will hopefully be producing more content about what twin flames are, because it's just been coming up more and more into my own life, and just through the awareness of what people are posting out there and what's going on, because I do feel that more people are coming into union with their twin flames. And that's kind of what Amanda was saying, which I agree upon, that we're really purging a lot of the karma that's been keeping us from finding each other. And we are, again, healing those wounds, and it's happening on a collective scale. So the divine masculines are being called to do that work, and so are the divine feminines. And I think the divine feminines have been mostly on that mission for a while now, because they seem to be the ones that are usually leading the charge when it comes to doing that type of work. But I really do feel the divine masculines stepping up, or being called to step up, to really look at their own wounds and patterns that are holding them back from uniting with their divine feminine in that way. So that's really what this reading is here to show and share. And I did do the card pulls earlier, so I already have everything kind of laid out. So I'm going to just go into that first. I'll check the comments again, see if there's anything happening. Oh, interesting. Marnie was saying Elton John's Tiny Dancer has been suggested through the last few days from Spirit. Still figuring that out. Interesting. Yeah, I get a lot. Most of my messages come through music, because I'm very musically oriented and sound oriented and clairaudient and all of that. So yeah, definitely. There's probably something in that for you, Marnie, that you're picking up on. All right. So twin flames. Um, I started with pulling cards for the divine masculine to just get another thing I wanted to mention before I throw that out there, though, is about Amanda Ellis. Another thing that's happening that I think might be triggering some of this to come up is the king in England, King Charles and Camilla, are being crowned king and queen like this week or something like that. So that symbolically seems to have some sort of representation on the twin flame energy as well. So interesting side note. But let's get into the divine masculine. So I pulled cards from my twin flame ascension deck, and I just wanted to ask Spirit, what's happening with the divine masculine right now as a collective? What's going on with them? And the two cards that came out were Wait a minute. Oh, that's not the one. Yep, these are them. Okay, so I got this one came out, and it's transformation, battle of head versus heart. And so this is all like the battle of the ego and the heart. So this is one of the things that I noticed coming up in my personal life. And so when I say that, this twin flame healing is going on in my life, um I definitely feel I'm with my divine counterpart, but as that I'm married to as my twin flame counterpart in this lifetime. But I was last year introduced to a divine masculine counterpart who is on the other side, who shares that same twin flame energy with me, and we've been working for about a year now together, like in the astral, and doing a lot of healing work that translates into healing work for my husband and I to do. And it's just really interesting how that all plays out. But basically, this has just been a common theme for our relationship as well, and something that I think the Divine Masculine Collective is working on. And that is to really learn how to get out of the ego, like stop acting from the ego, stop reacting from the ego, and get more into the heart. So getting out of the head and getting into the heart is a challenge for divine masculines, I'm hearing as well, because that's how they're trained, that's how they're conditioned. It's natural for them to be more 3D oriented and to be grounded in the physical and manifestation in the physical realm. And whereas divine feminines tend to be more highly intuitive and tuned to what's going on in the invisible realm, so to speak, and maybe they're more connected from the heart space to the heart space, and that allows them to feel more connected to the multidimensional realm. So they have that sort of awareness. But the men, I think, divine masculines are learning how to get more into that heart space. And so that's really about, um, not always listening to what the ego has to say. Like, are you following the ego or are you following the heart? And so it's a practice to learn how to allow the ego to say what it's going to say, but not necessarily let it um, cause you to not to react from the ego, is what is coming through. So it is a practice. And so it's patience with divine masculines who might be learning this, and but that feels like where the battle is right now with them, within them, is learning how to speak more from their heart, and not be so reactive to the negative ego. The other card that came out was Beyond Illusion for divine masculines, change your perception. So that kind of goes along with the same thing. It's all about being able to um look beyond what's happening in your present reality, and be able to see a different version, a picture. So I'm hearing unlimited potential. So it's like resistance to change, I'm hearing as well. There might be some divine masculines that are struggling with resistance to change, and there it feels like there's a stubbornness there to change. But the change that's being asked is to change one's perspective of the old conditioning. So it's a lot about letting go of the old paradigms, the old conditioning, of how masculines should be, or how divine masculines should act, or men should be, and even creating. Well, they're saying that we're creating and rebirthing new types of relationships, and that's what the twin flame energy is essentially anchoring into this reality, and is new timelines where divine masculines and divine feminines are feeling more connected from the heart and more tuned to each other from the heart. And that's what allows unconditional love to kind of come in and freely flow. But a lot of these masks, I'm hearing masks that we wear, are coming from old beliefs, outdated paradigms that's really kept us apart, kept us feeling separated from each other, the masculines and the feminines. And we are feeling lost as a result. We're feeling very disconnected. We're feeling lost. We're feeling confused. And we're longing for that feeling of being seen and heard and truly loved for who we really are. And we're longing to connect, to reconnect, I'm hearing, with our divine masculine counterparts, if you're a divine feminine, but with our counterparts on a soul level, on a higher soul level. So that's what this mass awakening is about. And that's really what this unification of twin flames is about. It's bringing in that frequency of like the higher souls connecting to each other, the higher selves coming in and bringing in that trinity flame of the Holy Spirit, of the connection with God, and that union between male and female with God in the marriage. So it's a really beautiful thing, but it's going to take a lot of clearing, I'm hearing, to get there. And that they're talking about karma clearing. And that was one of the cards that came out that's relevant to both. That's happening right now. A karmic purge is happening. This card says mirror reflection. So that's what I feel has been happening with my dreams, is there's a lot of emotions. And even with my experience in the last 3-4 days, it was just a lot of purging of emotions. And I was feeling a lot of anger emotions, and it was hard to even know like where that was coming from, but it was just, the feeling was like, this just gotta has to get out of my system. Like it can't, it it's old stuff, but it needs to come out to really get aligned with my higher truth and my higher core soul frequency. And we're all being called to do that essentially through the ascension process, whether we're on a twin flame journey or not. And so yeah, so those, that was for the divine masculine. Then when I pulled for the divine feminine, I had some really powerful cards coming through, which tells me that the divine feminine is really stepping into her power right now. So that's helping the masculine to come into his power. Because when we heal ourselves, then we actually help the other to heal as well. So the cards that came out, the first two cards that came out were Soul Merger, which is showing the feminine and masculine energies here with the caduceus and the two, it's like the male female kundalini energies coming together and rising to meet. Ebb and flow is what the card says, but it's all about coming together as one soul. So this represents, to me, what I'm hearing is the inner masculine and the inner feminine coming together and merging into oneness with God. And then um, drawing that out of their mate or partner, I guess you could say, or the twin flame that they're connected to energetically. So if you're in a state of a separation, or if you don't know who your twin flame is, then essentially by doing the work, by bringing these female, feminine, and masculine energies together in balance, and helping awaken that kundalini within you, you are essentially healing yourself and coming into alignment, and you're going to connect energetic. You can always be connected energetically to your twin flame, whether they are in the physical with you or not. So whatever, you can hear them better, feel them better, sense their presence through this process, essentially, of connecting with source energy. You're also able to connect to your twin flame that way. So feminines, divine feminines, seem to be coming into more of that. That seems to be coming in alignment with themselves. And this also card represents that one with self blossoming. So with that process, the divine feminines are taking their power back. I'm hearing they're blossoming into full form, full maturity, and they're becoming that beautiful rose that's opening up. And they're showing me the analogy of just like the flower attracting the bee. Like the flower doesn't have to go anywhere to get the bee's attention. It just has to be its beautiful self, and the bee comes. So it attracts the bee to it. So that's essentially the process that's happening right now, is as the divine feminines are unfolding and stepping into their power and showing, exposing their true beauty, their true soul essence, they're attracting in the mates and partners that are of the higher soul match, soul frequency match for them, and that carry that twin flame energy. All right. So, and then the last two cards I pulled were really power cards for the divine feminine. And the first one was Queen, divine feminine. Okay. The queen bee, I'm hearing, and High Priestess, expanding consciousness. So these two cards coming out is just telling me again, the divine feminine is like, she's taking her place on the throne. Like she's like, I'm ready to wear my crown. She's recognizing her own royalty, And what I'm hearing, she's really resurrecting the Magdalene codes within. So the Magdalene codes are the feminine codes within our own DNA that are activating us to remember our power as females, and that our rightful place is next to Christ on the throne. So Magdalene meaning Mary Magdalene, but Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ are the ultimate twin flames that are representative of that energy, and they brought that energy to earth. And a lot of the um, well, a lot was hidden purposefully about them being together, and so the feminine was shunned, and we had to live through a lot of patriarchal rule, and now finally the feminine is stepping into her power and being remembered as a divine counterpart to the masculine. And so, and that they come together, they come as a pair. It's not just Jesus ascending, it's he's ascending because he's with his twin flame, because he's with his counterpart. Um so that those cards right there just kind of show where the divine feminine is going. And I wanted to also share what are the keys to ascension with our or coming into union with our twin flame. What are the keys to that? Like, what do we need to know? And I pulled from a different deck. I pulled from my Lemurian Star Child Oracle deck. And I'm sorry if I'm talking a little fast with this, because I just want to get through everything and not be on here for forever. Um, but basically, the keys to coming into union are the first card that came out was the lion card. The lion and the lamb. Actually, there's a lamb here down there. So it's definitely the masculine, feminine type energies coming in. Peacemaker through or it says peace beyond survival, peacemaker through inner peace, resolving ancient splits. So they're showing me the ancient splits is when the twin flames split apart in ancient times, in Lemurian and Atlantis times. And then coming back together is finding inner peace within first, balancing these two energies within, and then yeah, bringing that into your union with your divine counterpart. And the key to that too is surrender. So this was like super important for me to have to learn when I was going through this process just over the weekend. Release misaligned energies, retune to your truth. So the feeling that was coming up for me was personally in my process was that there's a lot that I've been repressing that I wasn't aware that I was repressing. And I was repressing it because I was afraid to be vulnerable, but also afraid to be fully myself. And so a lot that I was releasing was the feelings I had about the feeling that I had to repress certain parts of myself. And so now the idea is we're retuning and we're releasing all of that, and just feeling more free is what I'm hearing, to step into our power. And if that means stepping into the light and showing our truth and speaking our truth, that's what it means. And so I feel more empowered in my ability to do that since I did that clearing work. And I'm assuming that a lot of you will be having similar experiences with that. Oh, wow, I just happened to see Cynthia's comment. She said, "As you mentioned the flower, she was painting a rose. What a synchronicity." And interesting that I thought I saw planting, like maybe some of you are being called to plant a rose even, and allow that to be a symbol, I'm hearing, of your divine feminine growing, for those of you who are really trying to nurture that side of yourself. But beautiful, Cynthia, thank you. And then Fern's been listening to an audiobook about Mary Magdalene's gospel. Yeah, there's just so much about Mary Magdalene that's really been hidden from us, and about the sacred union, the alchemical marriage, and all of that. It's very symbolic too. There's a lot of symbolism in her story that will trigger an awakening within our own DNA. Those of us who are coded with these memories will start to remember, um, not just who our twin flame is, but just what the true path of the twin flame is, and why it's so important, um, and I'm hearing it's really the epitome of the ascension process. It's really the end goal is to unify with your divine counterpart. Um, eventually, and not everybody's going to do that in the physical in this physical incarnation, but when we bring forward that energy, that by balancing our divine masculine feminine energies within, we create that timeline, we birth that timeline where that is going to happen, where we are going to accelerate down that path, where we'll magnetize again that into our reality faster. So it really is a beautiful time. And that's why the twin flames coming into union and really anchoring that frequency is so important, because it's going to activate others. It's really going to activate others. So that's so beautiful. And then, okay, so the third key to union is fire and water. Stillness amidst turmoil. Feel emotional integration. So it's really about feeling your emotions, and this is something that divine masculines are having to experience as well. No longer can we really repress those emotions, because it feels like when we repress them, we're gonna be forced to deal with situations that are going to keep triggering us to bring those where those emotions come out. So we don't want to avoid the triggers. We want to embrace the triggers and really allow those triggers to show us what those emotions are and what the higher messages in feeling those emotions are. And I've noticed with my own process that sometimes it's usually like I was feeling a lot of anger, but I wasn't sure where it was all coming from. But as I started getting like the downloads, then I would start to recognize other feelings coming up. And as I would get closer and closer to the actual feeling that was the cause of it, then I would start crying. So the release would happen when I would hit on the real cause, what was causing those feelings to be there. That's when the release would happen, and that's when I would feel like, okay, now I'm really tuning to my heart. I'm tuning to my heart, because now I feel like crying. It feels real to me. Like, um so yeah, so the emotions are just messages. And I just feel like the messages that I'm going to be sharing more and more are going to be around healing and this type of work. At least that's what I feel like I'm being called to do. And I also feel like I'm being called to talk more about twin flames because of my own experiences. And so again, it's just like it's an important time for that. And so the last three cards are really just like uh extra clarity cards, extra bonus cards that are positive. And it's all about multidimensionality. This one is multidimensional. So remembering that we're multidimensional beings. Again, we're never just like we're never separated from source, we're never separated from our divine counterparts, like in spirit. Like the higher up you go, you're always connected. It's just remembering that you're connected, remembering how you're connected, and clearing the pathway by getting rid of the blocks that's blocking you from feeling that connection, so you can connect to your twin flame anytime. And but you have to clear the pathways, you have to clear the resistance, you have to clear the blockages within to really feel that connection. But when you get a taste of that connection, you'll know what that feels like. It's very unique with the twin flame, because it feels like personal. Like it's like, okay, you know what it feels like connecting to source, but when you connect with your twin flame, it's just like there's a more personal connection there. It's like a different type of love, but it's just as beautiful and unconditional feeling. So multidimensional. Um, Oh, and it also says multiple dimensions, timelines, be you, don't even try to fit in. And that message just always comes up for me. It's just like, just be yourself. Like, don't even try. Like, it ain't going to work. So just be yourself and just do things the way that feel correct for you. And synchronicity came out. So opportunities in divine timing, open to change, divine outcomes. So it's all about divine timing. The universe is working for you, not against you. And those synchronicities are really what's going to keep you going on your journey and feeling confident and trusting the process, because they're happening more and more. And that's how your guides really get your attention. Like, yeah, you're on the right path. Like, you just start to see the synchronicities. And when you meet your twin flame, or you connect with your twin flame, you'll see a lot of synchronicities coming up. So that's another kind of sign that you're getting close, or that you are already connecting on a higher dimension. You're starting to remember who that is. Rainbow Child is the last one, and it's Unstoppable. Oh my gosh, that's a Sia song that's been playing like a lot lately, and I feel like that there's a message for me and or for us in that song, because it feels like the theme of that song is important. But New Earth Builder, multi-talented, miraculous alchemy. So yeah, so this is about building the new earth. So it's like the rainbow, it says rainbow child, but I feel like we're all rainbow children. We're just remembering how to become the rainbow children. And that's all about turning our light body on, getting our chakras activated and aligned. And that's what creates this rainbow light to come forward. And again, that's what builds that bridge to source and our higher self and our multidimensionality. And that's what the frequency that I hear the twin flames carry, but also that what's being birthed on the planet is the new earth builders. Like, we are the new earth builders. And that's kind of a good place to lead into the lunar eclipse and what's happening with that, and just what we just got out of a solar eclipse. And we just came out of, before that, the spring equinox. And it's this time in the cycle of where we're at in this ascension process is really the start point um, of building new earth. So we are like the architects of new earth. This is how it's been shown to me. This is how other people are interpreting it as well, that I resonate with. So really everything that we're creating right now is like we're creating the foundation. We're building new earth from the foundation up. We are deconstructing the old paradigms. We are reconstructing the new paradigms having to do with relationships, bringing in the twin flame energy with that, but also, many other areas that we are basically looking at everything that's been out of balance is what I'm hearing. All the structures, political structures, and governmental systems and things like that that's been in place, it's just been out of balance. It's just the rule has been out of balance. So there's been an abuse of power, a misuse of power, and it's time for us to regain our power. So we're doing that by doing the work individually, by stepping into our power individually. That's how we are helping the collective really transform everything through alchemy, because it says alchemy on the card. And that's where we're going to see the rebirthing happening. And yeah, somebody's saying they heard Unstoppable a lot. Yeah, it does. It was one of the songs that kept like coming up for me, like while I was going through this like transformation the last few days. And I think of Jim Flamenco a lot when I hear it now, because he said that's like one of his songs that spirit plays to him. Like, that's a kind of a power message song. So yeah, it's always good to have those songs. And then, when they come up, okay, I'm on the right track. It's like seeing 1111. It's like, all right, I'm hearing that song right now. I'm having this thought and I'm hearing that song. It must be, must be good. So yeah, I love music. All right. So what else do I want to go into? Yes, lunar eclipse, lunar eclipse. So there's a lot to say just in general about lunar eclipses and what they represent. I did have to look up just generally spiritually what they represent. Basically, what I got was it's a deeply transformative time. It's the feeling that something's coming to an end. So it feels to me like the solar eclipses are more about birthing something new, and the lunar eclipses are more about bringing something to a close and preparing to birth something new. So let me go back here. So that's really powerful. So pay attention to that general theme and notice what's coming to an end, what no longer serves, what feels outdated, what feels limiting, what you just don't want to deal with anymore, like what's just bothering you. You're like, why is that bothering me? Well, maybe it's because I'm ready to like release something around that and just start fresh. So it feels like there's going to be a lot of shadow work coming up or coming in, shadow cleansing and purification coming through. But it really is to kind of bring out that healed version of ourselves. So that's the undercurrent of the lunar eclipse generally. And then the full moon in Scorpio, I took a few notes because I'm not, I'm really into astrology as much as some other mediums are, but I did pick up some things about some themes that might show up, and it could be about trust and betrayal, like secrets that have been held, and this could be showing up in a collective, more public way. It's about truth, revelation, freedom. So, the dark versus the light, revealing old paradigms, a need for just deconstructing, letting go of the old, moving into new paradigms that are more about power for the people versus power over the people. So that might be some themes you see playing out with the Scorpio energy and the full moon. It's all about independence and sovereignty, self-reliance, self-sufficiency, having your sense of power come from within versus relying on external sources to tell you what's good for you. It's all about stepping into your own sovereignty. So, and then the ideas of things being out of balance. What's out of balance, what's out of alignment is going to come to the forefront, is what I'm kind of picking up on. And yeah, so that's just the general about that, but I wanted to pull some cards, and that I'm going to do. Well, actually, I had a couple cards here that are already pulled, but I want to pull some more, and I wanted to do it live. Um, to tune in more to the energy of this particular group and those who are actually watching right now. That's my purpose for wanting to pull these cards live. So this is going to be around the lunar eclipse happening and what some of the actual messages are for you guys. But these two cards came out the other day when I was pulling cards for myself, and it was clear that Spirit wanted me to share these cards with you because these are part of what's happening with this lunar eclipse. And I pulled these from the Starseed Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. And so the first card is the Void. And it says, stop, embrace winter, great cosmic bloom. But what this card shows me is that we're really stepping into the void. It's like we're hitting the reset button is what I'm hearing. Energetically, collectively, we're hitting the reset button. All of these eclipses, that's what the energy is helping us to do. It's helping us to reset and re-emerge, I'm hearing, out of the cocoon. Going into the cocoon is part of the phase or journey, but we're going into the cocoon, which is like going into the void, and it's like I don't know what's happening, like what's going on in here. It's just dark. uh you don't necessarily know what's going to come out, how you're going to come out the other side, but you got to just trust and have faith that everything is aligned and you're on your highest path, and you have to be willing to go into the unknown to rebirth the new and let go of the old to rebirth the new. And you don't necessarily need to know what's coming out of that, how that's all going to look and how that's all going to play out. You just your job is to trust and be willing to go and be willing to let go. It's like that's your test, that's your challenge in these times. So yeah, so stepping into the void is kind of what's coming with this lunar eclipse. And then the other aspect to it is this card says earthed. It says learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. So that is like really, really a big theme for us as star seeds and light workers. And that is like a challenging task for us sometimes. It's like learning how to be human. It's like, because here's what it is. The more you wake up to not being human, your non-humanness, your multidimensionality, where you come from, your starseed heritage, how you're connected to the ascended masters and all of this galactic knowledge and awareness, the harder it is to sometimes feel human or really integrate that information and then come back into your human form and just be doing the day-to-day stuff, especially when you can see the corruption, you can see how the system is so unbalanced, and it's hard. It's hard to I think that's what causes a lot of our ascension symptoms sometimes, is that we are feeling all these high vibrational frequencies and all these changes are happening, but then we still have to live in the world and be integrated and grounded in our identities. And yet we have these expectations on us, these responsibilities. We can't just like drop everything sometimes. So it's tough. It's like that's the challenge. I feel like that's the challenge of these times, and that's honestly, I think, going to continue. But I think that's why they're really pushing a lot of us to come together in groups like these, to just be more open and sharing more, because this is where we get our support. This is where we build that like structure of support, to kind of, recharge and then go back out there and just do it more. But it's almost like you're going out to battle like every single day, just living life in a system that's so unbalanced, when you're finding balance within and coming into union with your higher self. And then you're going out in the world and you're like, whoa, this is really hard. How do I endure these chaotic frequencies and energies and stay grounded and stay in my higher heart? So that's really our mission as light workers. That's what they're telling me. And I know the galactics are around. I'm getting a lot of high vibrational energy right now. And the Pleiadians are here. The Pleiadians are here. They're coming in right now. So like they're showing up. I feel like they're like giving you guys energy too. So maybe you're feeling that as well. But they're definitely raising our frequencies. So I knew the galactic updates were gonna have some Pleiadians coming in. So I think that's part of who's sharing this message right now. But yeah, they're like, that's your mission. That's your mission. And it's a challenge. You're spiritual warriors, but that's how you're being called to serve, is to hold the frequency as best as you can. But take time to rest, take time to recharge, and don't go to battle every day. They're like, don't go out to battle every day. Like, you need days where you're just like to yourself and allowing those energies to integrate within your system, because they're calling it overload, system overload. You don't want to go into system overload and shock. They're saying like traumatic shock is what they're saying, because they're so high vibrational. And they're talking about energies that are coming through the lunar eclipse too. Yeah. So oh, hi Jim, that was you. Okay, great. With the unstoppable. Awesome. Yes, I'm hearing it now. It's coming in. Um, so yeah, the Pleiadians, yes, they do. They do. And they do want to share more kind of galactic type of downloads that I was getting through a meditation last week that I typed up. I just typed in some notes that I jotted down. So there's some things here that they're going to want to talk about. But let me just make sure this part of the reading is done. So I'm going to keep pulling cards for this part of the reading, and then I'm going to get into like more of the specific kind of galactic intel that was coming in from them. So let's just pull a couple more cards, and let me tune in, just see like what do we need to hear as a group today that's going to just help us navigate these energies and these changes happening in. Oh, look at this one. It says jump in, Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. So it's all about saying yes. So don't resist the change, they're saying. Just jump in. It's like jump into that void. just don't worry about what's happening. Just give in. Give in to the changes that want to take place, because it feels like those who are resisting are getting stuck. They're going to get pushed very hard. So like life is going to push them, like they're going to get pressure. I'm hearing pressure cooker. It's going to become like a pressure cooker where you're just going to feel it from all ends until you just look at it. You really just have to look at it. And it does take going within. It does take courage. It does take strength to do that. But then this is what happens. You look within, and the light comes in and it cracks you open. And this card says, cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. So again, that theme of surrender, you just got to give in. You just got to give in. You give into the light. The light shines onto the dark, allows you to see what's really there, what's been hiding. It's probably not as bad as you think, but it needs to be healed. It needs to be integrated. It needs your love to heal, is what they're saying. It needs your love, attention, and care to heal. So, and that's what you need to come into balance, to really come into balance with yourself, with your higher self. And to tune into your higher heart's wisdom as well. You've got to release the pain. They're saying there's aspects of you that are broken, that are fragmented off, that have been traumatized, wounded from previous lifetimes, previous experiences in this incarnation, that are ready to be healed. And so yeah, taking the time to really look at those pieces and parts that come through your emotional triggers and how you respond to those emotional triggers as well. And that's letting go of your ego. So there's an ego death aspect to this, a rebirthing process. And it's letting go. It's about letting go of the old, making room for the new. And here it is, the new earth. That's the new timeline that we're creating. It's happening, it says the card. Keep holding the vision. So just know that every time you tune into your heart and you let go of something and you heal something, your something new is being rebirthed, and you part of yourself is being reborn, like born again is what they're showing me. So it's being revealed, though ultimately they're using the word revealed because it's always been there, but it wasn't in its whole form. It was showing up in a wounded form. So now you're going to start to see parts of yourself express themselves in a whole form, in within unity consciousness, where there's no division, there's no feeling of separation. You just are that. You are becoming that. And there's nothing hiding. There's no feeling of like, I need to hide that part of myself because that part has been healed in a sense. So it really is a process and a journey, and you have to trust your intuition. But they're asking me like, what's holding you back? What's keeping you from like recognizing the parts of yourself that are calling for help? So they're talking about like the need to tune your awareness to really how those parts speak to you, how you're getting that like call from help, how those parts get emotionally triggered, and what are the emotional triggers, what are the triggering events, and then what do those events lead to? Because usually they're showing it's like it's a bunch of different emotions showing up. It's like a buried amount of emotions that come out. It's like there's layers to the emotions that come out. And so when you get to the root cause, it takes some digging. They're saying it takes some digging and willingness to really get in there. And that might take some time and energy to do that as well. Because, so they're saying healing energy is important. So the Pleiadians can help bring in the healing energy that will allow you to see more clearly what your blind spots are, they're saying, so that you can correct. It's like self-correct, bring yourself back into a state of balance and alignment, and keep moving on your mission. But yeah, hold the vision. So us working together as a team of light workers, there's always going to be one of us that's holding the vision and giving room and space and holding the container for those who need to take the couple days off and go into healing mode. And then, it's like we take turns holding the line so that we all have the chance to really heal what we need to heal. So I feel like those are really beautiful messages coming in and really full messages. But I was guided to bring this deck along with me today, the Angel Prayers deck. The feeling is there's some cards that want to come out of this deck for you guys, personal to this group, those who are watching right now, even if you're watching the replay. Let me just see what other messages want to come through for the group here. And I'm sorry if I'm not keeping up with the comments either, but I'll try to keep up with those. Oh, Amy's saying she's feeling the void. Yes, it's just like, just go. It's like this portal. It's like a portal to the unknown, to the new timelines. And we just have to trust and let go of the old. All right. So Ooh, Archangel Sandalphon came out, and his card says, "The miracle of prayer. Thank you, Sandalphon, for delivering my prayers to heaven." Um, but this is just keep praying, like keep setting your intention is what they're saying. Keep setting your intention, keep grounding, keep believing in the power of miracles is essentially that all is well, all is working out in your favor. The divine is supporting you. You have the gift of magic, I'm hearing as well. You have the gift to transform. It's like you have the gift of alchemy. You have the gift of that. It's like you're born healers. You've done this in many lifetimes, and that's why you're the spiritual warriors here to transmute the darkness into light. So trust in your own powers and believe in your own powers, and miracles will occur. It will change at you'll see change at a fast and rapid rate is what I'm hearing, because these energies are just all about lifting us up right now. So the quicker we get through the healing, the higher we're going to feel on the other side of that healing is what they're showing me. It's like we're actually going through an upgrade. The healing takes place, and then we feel like we've been upgraded into a higher version. Okay, Archangel Metatron. Ooh, of course, Metatron and Sandalphon would come out. The twins. Speaking of twin energy, clear your vibes. Thank you, Metatron, for clearing my energy field. So I'm getting right now that apparently you guys are, some of you are working with Archangel Metatron or Sandalphon, are being called to work more with them on energy clearing work specifically, and maybe on some light body activations I'm feeling intuitively. And so they're both really good at helping you with the chakras, because Sandalphon represents the lower chakras and Metatron is more about the upper chakras and helping you guys get into alignment. Um, Spiritual abundance. Yay. The good news is what's on the other side is spiritual abundance. So if you trust, go into that void, you do the work, you will receive the reward, which is the abundance, the feeling of being in your power and just living your most joyful, fulfilling life. And that's really what we're all here to do. And that's how we share our power with the world and activate others as well. Thank you, angels, for blessing me with infinite abundance. Um, so those were really beautiful cards, and I feel like, yeah, I feel like those are the messages. I do have a one that I'm going to share at the end with the group, but I'm not feeling a draw to pull too many more cards. But I will share that I kind of checked in to see if there was any other guides that want to come through. I'm also being reminded to get back to the galactic updates that I'm going to share, so I'm going to come back to that. But these are two guides that showed up: Krishna and Green Tara. So I don't know if any of you are feeling a draw to connect with them or are connecting with them. But Green Tara's card says supreme protection. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitation and trust. And then Krishna is about devotion. And I'm hearing spiritual devotion, spiritual practices, spiritual discipline. Now is the time to really do the work and to fine tune your own spiritual practices to really align again with those higher frequencies, and the way you're being called to serve um, might require some discipline. I'm hearing some spiritual discipline and like a routine, like a structured routine. It feels like his energy can help you do that, to create that structure. And I have been picking up on that as well for myself. Um, it's all part of the purification process. So it's really just different steps to help you align again with those energies, and make that transition a little bit easier, because there's a lot of changes happening physically, and we're all experiencing lots of different emotional energies and physical ascension symptoms. So, oh wow. And Fern is confirming Green Tara. Wow, you've been connecting with her maybe. Beautiful. Yeah, she's very beautiful, divine feminine energy. And I feel also brings in a healing energy as well. Very heart chakra activations and things like that coming in with her energy. But awesome, beautiful. Oh my gosh, yeah. I think this is Cynthia. She's saying she's chanting a mantra with Krishna, so resonates. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, I don't know. Maybe somebody here is channeling Krishna or bringing his energy in. but he's like Christ, it's the same Christ consciousness energy, and it's beautiful. And he's also about the twin flames as well. So Krishna's twin flame is Radha, who I've never channeled directly before, but that kind of came into my awareness when his card came out. So I feel like he can help you with the balancing again, inner divine, feminine, and masculine. All right, galactic updates. Let's go to my notes. So this does feel relevant to the lunar eclipse, but also just in general, kind of explaining what's actually happening, kind of from a galactic perspective or level, or more technical level. So in my meditation, I was receiving a lot of these like codes and words, and the the ultimate theme here that's happening is decoding the soul matrix. So what that means, we are in the process of decoding our soul matrix. So our soul matrix is like our whole energy body and energy field that we have. And it includes the quantum field. It includes the quantum DNA, the cellular DNA. So we are in the process of ascension. Part of our ascension process is activating the DNA, turning those codes on. And decoding the soul matrix is a process that we're all going through, which is all about figuring out like what the correct codes are. So we all have our divine soul organic blueprint that we came with, that's encoded with source coding. And then we have some genetic manipulation material mixed in, the stuff that was hijacked and kind of our DNA was a little bit tampered with, not a little bit, a lot, but that's why we got separated from our twin flames in the first place. But yeah, so yeah, we don't just have 2 strands, we have 12 strands. And sorry, my door just shut on its own. If you guys heard that, nobody's home. my my AC turned on and it like shut the door. Boom on that point. But yeah, so the activation of the 12 strands is we're in a process of decoding our reality and getting back to the source codes. The source codes are the correct codes, and those are the codes that are going to bring us into alignment, not just with our twin flame, but like with our soul. Like it's going to bring that core soul frequency on, and those DNA switches are going to turn on. And the more we code that or decode, uh the decode is like take the old codes out and reprogram them essentially. It's all very much like the movie The Matrix, kind of. So I was watching that movie not that long ago, like a couple weeks ago, and I did want to bring this up. If you all feel guided to watch it, there's like a series of 4 movies, but it was really the last movie in the series, Matrix Resurrections, that actually talk about the twin flame, like how they created the matrix based on the twin flame template, how they took the twin flames apart and what they're doing with the codes, and how that's feeding this false matrix system. It's really interesting because they basically explain it in that movie. But essentially, when the twin flames come together, they bring together the 12 strands together. And when those 12 strands come on, then they have the ability to bring in the 24 strands and the 48 strands. So it's really about bringing all our soul memory complexes back online. So we receive codes through songs, we receive codes through synchronicities, we receive codes through uh, channeled messages that are shared. Activations come in. It's like our we might not consciously understand, but something in our DNA understands. And so when we receive the information, it starts doing its thing, it starts recoding itself, and then we start healing. We start releasing the stuff that doesn't match to the correct code, essentially. And I'm not very technical in that way, but that's how it's being shown to me. So this is what's happening, what the Galactics were saying. Memories, false matrices, end of timelines, flashbacks to future selves. That's what I was receiving. Memories in the form of our true memories are going to come back on. False matrices that we are a part of, that we are energetically corded to, connected to through the false programming of our mind, we're going to start disconnecting from. End of timelines, meaning these timelines that we were hooked into through these false programs that were keeping us on the trajectory of like Armageddon, like warring timelines, like just destructive timelines for humanity are ending. They're coming to an end. And we are shifting into the new Earth timelines, which is creating the peace, the harmony. Flashbacks to future selves, what they're saying is that's we're going to start to have memories of our future selves, like our galactic versions of ourselves, our future timelines, or even what's happening in parallel timelines, because all of these timelines are in the process of being healed right now. So, what else was I getting? Yeah, DNA templates, socially engineered. Basically, what I was saying is like we've been kind of socially conditioned and engineered in a way so that we don't remember all of our true selves. And so that's kind of the power that they have of that is starting to fade. And as more of us wake up. And the solar storms, they were saying, we're bringing in these activations as well. Uh, they were talking about the soul memory complex, which is the DNA uh, trigger activation words and archetypes. So, certain archetypes that we are drawn to or kind of find within ourselves, um like for example the archetype of like the magician or the wizard or the alchemist. These types of archetypes are coming back online, like our remembrance. And there's going to be certain words, trigger point types of words and signs and symbols and synchronicities that keep popping up in our awareness, whether it's through meditation or just like where when we're driving around, like the infinity sign, for example, and it's going to mean something to us, and we're going to start to remember the connection with that. And it's like rewiring our brain is kind of how they're saying it. It sounds a little complex, maybe how I'm explaining it, and I'm sorry if it's too much all at once. But I feel like some of you intuitively know this or probably already have come across this information. Um, so yeah, so it's a DNA encryption process that's happening. What's coming in is we're moving from like a double helix to like an infinity helix with our DNA. So that's where the infinity signs come in to represent that. The 8 8 is a symbol of that. And we're bringing in the triple flame. So whereas the twin flame is like the two flame, the triple flame is like the sign of the Trinity, and that's bringing in the source flame. That's my understanding, but this is a code word. So I think they were kind of dropping some codes and wanting me to share with you guys. So if you're coming across any of these words or expressions, then maybe that is a sign for you that you're kind of being triggered and activated in a certain way as well. And they were talking also about bypassing false light matrices. So that's what we're learning how to do, is what they're saying right now. We're learning how to use our own discernment, our own heart's discernment to bypass the false matrices. These have been in place for eons and pretty much since we came to this planet. And so what these activations are helping us do is to learn how to bypass them, to just move out of the way or move out of the trapping system. So where they were able to trap us before, our souls, they're not, because we're more conscious now. And that's what the light worker grids turning online and all of us working together, and the more of us waking up and the galactics helping us, and all of that is helping us to do. And so it's easier to see what the trapping systems are. And so just pay attention to what's happening in like the world, the public stage, because the feeling is like they're going to try to keep playing the same games, and they might try to take it up a notch a little bit, but it's not as easy to fool us anymore because we are very much aware and we're tuned in telepathically to each other. So we're sending signals to each other all the time. Like one of us will be like, oh, that's a trap, and then it'll send like a signal through the grid that'll reach all of us on some level. And those of us who are open and to receive those messages will get those downloads as well. And that's how they can't really censor us because we're connected telepathically. Um, so that's yeah, I think a lot. I've also been getting some downloads about like time, like non-linear time versus linear time. And um yeah, but that's just a remembrance that time kind of works in a spiral is what they're saying. So um again, like what's happening in the now is affecting all the timelines that you are connected to. So past and future timelines are being healed through the changes that you're making in this moment. So it is a really big deal. Everything that you're doing, even if it doesn't feel like that, every time they're showing me like every time you choose a new thought or choose a different action or choose your words um, wisely in tune to the frequency of your heart and you align with that, you're really setting the pathway for others to do that as well. And you're bringing in those codes. They're saying you're birthing those codes and those frequencies and bringing them to life. So, because that's how we create through our thoughts. And we're conditioned. Our thoughts have been conditioned. They've been falsely conditioned through mind control and programming. And so, really pay attention to the thoughts. And if it's not a thought that you resonate with, just let it fly by you and don't attach to it. Don't give it any energy or too much attention because again, and even with reliving the past, they're saying even when you're doing the healing work and you come across like a past memory that might trigger a response, you don't want to keep living the memory, but you want to get the feeling out. You want to get the feeling out and you want to bring in the new energy, which is the feeling of love, which is what's going to bring in the healing energy and allow that kind of memory to transmute and transcend. Um, and again, I know you guys know this stuff, but I was guided to share it. So maybe there's people out there that will be listening to this and hopefully getting something out of this also. But I feel like so disconnected from you guys in the comments. So I want to like tune back in and see um, everything that's going on. And Amy was saying she's connecting with Metatron and the Merkaba a lot lately. Yeah, so the Merkaba activations are going to be really important for our light bodies and to help these memories come back online in the DNA. It helps with that and multidimensional travel and all of that. That's beautiful. And so I think I covered really all. Oh, I need to get to the questions that I knew there was something else. I need to get to the questions for the patrons. There's a couple of those. Yeah, yes, that's it, Cynthia. Time feels like it's speeding up or it may slow down a lot. Yes, it is. It's like that. And the feeling of like timeline jumping just happening like all the time now is really interesting. So it's interesting you are picking up on that too. And let's see. All right, I'm going to go to Patreon and pull up the questions that came up. Some of you might be here in the comments, but I think there was 3 that I saw. One is from Tina. So she was asking, is there a way to incorporate into your lives something about balancing feminine and masculine energies? At one time, she was overly in the masculine. Now it seems she's overly in the feminine. Does Spirit have any helpful tips? Intuitively, I feel like maybe some of that was covered a little bit earlier in the reading, but I do want to tune in now, and I'm feeling like a very calming presence coming in, which is good. So let's see. I feel like I want to see who is going to step forward to share. Oh yes, I have Master Jesus, Yeshua, and Mary Magdalene coming in. So anything you guys would like to add about helping to balance the divine feminine and masculine energies within at this time? They're just saying stay true to yourself. Let your heart speak to you. Let your heart be your guide. Your heart is your highest wisdom. it knows what your body needs. It knows what you need. So you always want to tune into your heart for guidance and allow your emotions to flow. There's no right or wrong way to express your divinity, is what they're saying. There's no right or wrong way to express your divinity. I feel like they want to say that again. There's no judgment in how you express yourself. So at times you may feel pulled to be more connected to your divine feminine wisdom, they're saying. And at times you may feel pulled to be in your divine masculine authority. So, from the perspective, neither is right or wrong, jumping back and forth from these different perspectives, from a multidimensional perspective, is what's helping you to come into alignment, is what's helping you to see the opposing views or the difference in perspectives that each bring. Again, there's no right or wrong in perspectives. It's just noticing the difference in the approach and in the perspective will help you recognize when these energies are needed. Um, in other words, when you're in a situation where you need a little bit more of the divine masculine energy, you will start to recognize to come into balance. In that situation, you'll start to recognize when you're being called to bring the divine masculine energy into the situation. You need more of that to balance your energy, or when you need to bring in more of the divine feminine approach. So they're bringing it back to the heart, though. This is heart-based wisdom. This is heart-based knowledge. But then they keep saying let it flow, and so the feeling is like it's almost like let go of your expectations of how you should be, and allow the divine masculine to speak to you in um when it wants to speak to you, and the divine feminine wisdom to shine through. So they both have their perspectives that are correct, and coming into balance, they're saying, is really about allowing both of those perspectives to be heard and seen and understood as loving, divinely guided perspectives, as beautiful in their own right, as yeah, it's like recognizing the truth is what they're saying. Recognizing the truth in both perspectives and harnessing the power in both perspectives is what they're showing me, is really a skill. It's really a practice, and it comes from observing um like how both sides react. uh it's like two sides of the same coin is what they're saying. That's kind of what they're using as a phrasing right now. But learning to see um multidimensionally is learning to see one experience from two perspectives. So, from the perspective of the masculine and from the perspective of the feminine, and then harmonizing, bringing those two into balance is really about creating harmony within those two perspectives. It's like compromise. It's like bringing the best in of both of those perspectives that are going to bring true unity and harmony to the situation. So, um, I'm just asking if there's anything else because I thought I heard them say something else. They're like, yeah, and learning how to not to fight with each other, learning how to get along. It's all about uh helping the masculine feminine get along, like learn how to be in power together, learn how to rule together in equal power, in equal measure, um, because they both bring unique gifts and qualities to the table that is important for rulership, for leadership, for to really be in your true sovereign power. You need both energies strong. You need them both strong. There's wisdom in both of the energies. So look for the wisdom and look for the weakness in what might be expressed through an unhealed masculine, might be showing a sign of where there needs to be more strength in a certain area. Um, yeah, it's getting a little complex, but I feel like I want to do like maybe a video with them on this topic at some point, because yeah, I feel like that's something that we could all, learn more about how to come into balance with those energies, and it seems to be really important right now as well. Um, so thank you, Mary and Jesus, for that. Let's go to the next question. Um, I think this one is from from Amy, who's in the comments as well. Um, she's been feeling fatigue, densities, ear ringing, headaches centered around her third eye and occipital area. Me too, Amy. Just wondering if she's receiving chakra expansions or if there's something else going on with you or the collective. Also, any advice navigating through this? Okay. Um, Let me just see. Yes, I'm getting some answers, but I'm just seeing who I'm connecting with. Yeah, so I feel like Jesus is still with me. So let me see if he wants to answer this question. But I'm also hearing the galactics too, so I feel like the Pleiadians are also here. Um Okay, how do you want to answer this? Is she receiving chakra expansions, or is there something else going on with her or the collective? They're like chakra expansions. Yes, I feel like this is the Pleiadians talking based on how they're approaching me here. But you have Pleiadians on your team, is what they're saying. So you're receiving galactic updates, they're saying. Also through these ascension symptoms, you're receiving downloads and galactic updates. So that's what some of the head aches and ear ringing is about. You're feeling the galactic frequencies. You're adjusting and attuning to the galactic frequencies. And yes, it is having an effect on your third eye expansion. Yes, it is causing your third eye to feel activation. Yes, it is affecting the occipital nerve, they're saying, but you said occipital, I don't know what area, if that's even a nerve. Maybe I'm mistranslating that. But um, yes, it's affecting your headaches. Yes, it's causing the feeling of pressure. And they're saying like being underwater is what they're comparing it to. That's how these frequencies can feel sometimes. And I feel like I need to go back to my other screen. I'm sorry, I got lost here. The galactics are just coming in too fast. Um, yeah, a lot of you guys are going to be feeling, they're saying like you're underwater, like you just have this pressure, this ear ringing, this just like heaviness, like it's like a dense energy, it's a thick energy. Um it's all part of the process. It's all part of the frequency adjustment. It's nothing to worry about. You don't want to like conjure up fear around it, but you do want to trust your body and the symptoms that your body's showing you. So bring in the healing energy, they're saying. If you are uncertain about something, always bring in the healing energy and give your body what it needs. But really, it's about rest and integration and just allowing the energies to flow through you. So a lot of you have some blockages and some restrictions that are in the process of breaking up and creating new pathways, they're saying. So it's part of your light body activations as well. So creating new pathways, they're showing me like meridians, um, just blockages in the channels of energy through your light bodies is what is um, maybe triggering some of these pains or symptoms to manifest in a way. It's also the pressure and stress of society that's being put upon you. So there's like a mental and emotional kind of pressure to sort of act in alignment with the old ways, but those are the outdated ways. So that there's a lot of like like the feeling is like give and take, but it's more like pull and tugging energy. It's just like going this way and then being pulled this way. It's like you're just kind of going back and forth, and it's hard to adjust. It's like you're going from one frequency to another, to one to another, and these light codes are coming in like really strong when they come in these heavy waves, like through the eclipse season. So just give yourself time to adjust. Drink lots of water, they're saying. um yeah, grounding energy is important. Bringing in the higher vibrational healing energies, connecting directly to source also will help to transmute. So they're showing like the white light of source, but also like the violet flame, different energies. What you feel called to work with is really going to be the right frequency for you. So the Pleiadians might be um, a group you could work with for healing energy. The unicorns, there's just so many different ways that we can tune to these different frequencies, but it's really about letting your intuition guide you. Um, and taking the pressure off of yourselves to perform so much. They're saying these high performance levels, it's like there's an addiction to high performance, they're saying, with your culture. It's like you guys are in a race to get there and you can't get there fast enough, they're saying. So this is just all pressure from within. It builds up in the system and it needs to be released. And these light codes are helping to fix that, need to keep going and doing. There really needs to be a balance. There needs to be a period of reset and rebalance that needs to be honored, for your integration process to take place as it was organically designed. But many of you are fighting that change, you're fighting that, and you're trying to push through it and push forward. And it's causing you a lot of stress and extra density, they're saying. So in your emotions as well. So release that, learn to release that built up of resistance, and let go and allow, let go and surrender. This is what's going to really help you come into balance. Um, so yeah, I feel like hopefully that answered your question, Amy. Um, yeah, because I've been feeling that too. Um, and someone was saying, sharing that they felt so tired, really have to motivate myself to do things that I like to do. Yeah, me too. I wasn't feeling self-motivated for a while, and like sometimes you go through those periods where you're just like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Like, this just isn't me. But it always passes. It's like the funny thing about emotions is that they pass. It doesn't last forever, but yet it's just not always comfortable, to have to go through it. But when you do and you get to the other side, I notice that there is like a feeling of peace that comes in, and I'm feeling that peace right now. So I feel like, and they're telling me that that peace I'm feeling is a sign that a lot of you are coming into balance. You are coming into balance and harmony within. So trust yourselves, trust that you are doing it. You're doing the work. And I feel like a lot of vibrations on the back of my crown right now going off. Um, so yeah, just trust in the guidance that you're getting, and um hope that's helping you guys. Um yeah, it's definitely an upgrade, cuz I was feeling the same thing and I was noticing that too. I'm like, this feels like galactic energy. Like, why is my, like, I couldn't get rid of the pressure in my head. Like, it was unreal a couple of days ago. That might have been more around the solar eclipse even that I was feeling that. Just random days, like nothing was even bothering me. It was just like this feeling. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired and I have this pressure and I don't know where it's coming from. It feels like I've been channeling the galactics for like 3 hours and I'm not even tuning to them. So, but apparently we are, because we're taking in these frequencies, and that's part of what we need. So awesome. All right. So what else is there? There was another question. I think there's one more. And if anybody's in the comments, if I missed a Patreon question, let me know. Um, but it was Cynthia actually who's here as well. So obviously, Cynthia's been feeling a lot of these energies too, physically, and pressures. You've been feeling the pressure on your head, like a migraine. Yep. Um, Tension on your upper neck. Also having a hard time meditating. And when you do meditate, almost every time something starts moving, it's like an energy going upward, swirling, and it starts to spin inside of you. And then she's saying her head starts to go around in circles. Um, Feeling a lot of pressure around her head. Okay, so also ringing in the ear. So a lot of the same symptoms that Amy was feeling and that I was feeling. Um, but that's interesting what you're saying about the meditation. So you're saying you had to rest, um, and not even meditate, not go out, and you wanted to know if you could get clarity on that, if there's a purpose behind that, if you could get clarity and what to do on handling the energies. Awesome. So let's tune into the Pleiadians again. Um, okay. Um, Yeah, I'm curious. I want to tune into them first around the meditating. They're saying like not wanting to meditate is a normal symptom of ascension as well. They're saying like you meditate when you sleep. So it's not to worry like if you're not like actively meditating all the time. It doesn't mean you're not receiving the downloads that you need. It just means that your body needs to rest because if you were to go into meditation, some of you at that state, you would naturally just fall asleep, or you wouldn't be able to hold your consciousness awake or alert, and that's okay. So meditate what however feels comfortable for you, and let your body guide you in that process. And some of you don't always need to meditate. Some of you need to move. Some of you need to get up and go and move to move the energies. So, and I know they're talking about me because I've been having this experience myself where um I feel like I gotta go, like, I gotta drive. So for me, to release stuff, I've just been, like, getting in my car and just taking a drive, not to any specific place, just driving around and, allowing myself to, like, listen to music and just kind of, like, de-stress, and it's kind of, like, also getting out of my house type of feeling too, because there's a lot of energy in my house with 3 kids and all of that. It's hard to find quiet space here. That's part of it, but the other part is like I need to move and I need to just feel like I'm going somewhere. But I can still be in a very receptive state driving in my car, and I love listening to music. Music just really like awakens me, and it brings in messages, and it helps me process what I'm feeling as well. So and they're saying that that's correct as well. So it's in there, but they're talking about correcting imbalances. So it's all about correcting imbalances within. So it's energy work. It's energy imbalances. It's energy imbalances in your chakras. Things are just kind of like readjusting, resetting, retuning. Some of you need more time to rest. Some of you need time to move. It's the energy. Go with where the energy wants to take you and what feels correct again for you, and just let it move through you. They just keep saying let it move through you. So if that feeling causes you to want to like if you feel like you need to be more receptive and like recharging the energy or getting a recharge of energy, that's when you want to lay down and you want or go into meditation, go into a more relaxed receptive state so you can allow that energy to just kind of come in while you're in a very receptive, open state. But always set your intention around that as well, and use your shielding practices as well to kind of make sure you're collecting the highest vibrational energy. They're saying harvesting the highest energy um, for that process. But they were showing me with the moving of the energy. So sometimes when you're I don't know how they were showing me this, but it had to do with, like, the opposite. So when you're recharging, you're resting, but when you're activating your energy centers is what they're showing me, um, you're you're moving, like, you might, like, need to move, so that might be a form of, like, having the energy come back into alignment. They're showing me the chakras and just, like, imbalances that take place and how the energy wants to flow and maybe correct its flow, so you might be guided to do, like, physical exercise, for example, dance, move around, play, go outside, be more active in that sense, take a walk, um just get out of the field that you're in. They're saying you're in a lot of you are in places where there's a lot of congestion of energy. So it's like you're in like a pit of a lot of energy and it's collecting in these pockets. And you might be in a pocket where there's just a lot of energy collecting around you, especially if you live in the city or under power lines, they're showing, or just, keep in mind there's a lot of electromagnetic frequencies out there that mess with your energy as well that can throw you off very easily. The radiation from our phones, they're showing information that comes in that carries a low vibrational frequency. Pay attention to the triggers. They're saying, in other words, there are many triggers that can cause you to feel like out of alignment with your energy, but to tune yourself vibrationally, it's getting out in nature, being more active, moving your body. So it's like circulation of the blood, circulation of the energy will help to recalibrate and reset. And also getting from the sun, they're showing from the portal of the sun, soaking in the sun rays as well will help bring in that higher energy that will essentially lift your frequency, is what they're showing, and make it easier for this denser energy to transmute um, within. And so the faster you can go through that mutation process, the quicker you'll get to like where you feel good again, is what they're showing. But it's a lot of the denser energies that are being transmuted, and that's why you're it's like a collective of dense energies in your system that you're kind of like bringing up and out. These energies are causing them to come up and out, so you're feeling the symptoms of what those energies feel like. You're feeling the presence of those energies, while you're also receiving the new frequencies, and your body's making adjustments along the way. So you're all going to experience it differently, but trust your intuition, trust what your body's telling you, and give yourself a lot of love and nurturing, and stay tuned to the high vibes, meaning really shield yourself and protect your energy when you're in a vulnerable state at that place when you're adjusting to these frequencies. So protect yourself, do what you can to protect your energy, so you're not getting a lot of stress coming off of anything else, low vibrations coming off of other people. You're not putting yourself in stressful situations. You're just staying away and in calm situations as much as possible. That's why nature is so important, because it's healing in that way. So, lots of good messages coming through. It is at an hour and a half, and I'm feeling the need to wrap it up. Um, I do see a question from Faith that I'm really guided to read here, so there might be more. Faith says the Fae have been a draw to her lately, including star family. Is there a specific reason for this? And is she embodying light codes from them? Just wondering why they're so present in her field. I'm hearing pay attention. Let me tune in more energetically to that question. They're wanting you to pay more attention to them for some reason, or they're trying to get your attention. Yeah, they want you to connect to them more often. They do have healing codes and activations for you. Their light is very present with you. It's like present all around you, but you're also learning to tune your frequencies to their energy. So I feel like they're um, showing up more in that way, to kind of as confirmation as well, and validation that you are tuned to them, um, and learning how to see them, and know when they're around. And yeah, it feels like they could have like messages for you as well, or how they're helping you. Maybe there's more to share with you on that, but generally speaking, yeah, there's like upgrades and codes and stuff like that happening when you connect. Anytime you connect, they're saying anytime you connect with your star family, you're getting upgrades. You're just, it's like your memories coming back online. You're getting upgrades through they're saying physical connection. It's not physical though. It's like the energy transfer of that you get when you bring their frequency in is automatically going to do stuff to your DNA, and it's going to bring up subconscious um, triggers and activations that are happening on a higher dimensional level, and maybe without your awareness fully, but they're definitely, yeah, anytime you connect with the galactic beings or star family or family of any kind, like in this case, Fae as well, you're getting those codes triggered on, and you'll be able to hear their messages more clearly. So it feels like even if you're not directly channeling them, you'll get like little seed points, like intuitive drops, like through your awareness, that come from them. And the more you tune to their frequency, the more you'll be able to tell the difference, like if that was a message from them or from a different guide, for example. So it just, you get better with that the more practice you get. Um, so beautiful. Um, is Khan here? Hi, Khan, if you're here. um, And Cynthia said that was accurate. Thank you so much for all the channel messages. Thanks to Star Seeds. Oh, yes, you're welcome, Cynthia. And thank you, everyone here as well. And there's Con. Hi, Con. Um, so, all right, we're going to wrap it up with the final message that I pulled earlier. And this is based on the fact that I've been seeing the spirit animal around me a lot as I've been going through this process. And maybe you guys have too. And it's the butterfly. Lots of butterflies around my backyard. Every time I go outside, I seem to see the same one. It's like this beautiful big yellow butterfly flying around. And it's the number 11 as well, which is a twin flame number, but also a number of unification with your higher self and coming into alignment with your mission. So butterfly spirit transformation is beautiful. I feel like we are all going through these little mini death and rebirth cycles that is they keep showing me the analogy of the butterfly going into the cocoon and the stages of that lead to metamorphosis. And when you're going into the cocoon, it's like stepping into that void, that card we were showing earlier. It's like going into the darkness, like everybody leave me alone. I'm going into hermit mode. And when I come out, I'm going to be leveling up. I'm going to be a new version of me, and it's going to be beautiful. So just trust the process. So I'm just going to end this live by reading from the guidebook, the message here. Butterfly spirit transformation is beautiful. Oracle message, joy and the beautiful lightness of being alive and creative in the world is the focus when butterfly spirit flutters before you. Transformation is inevitable as you grow into your most beautiful, empowered self. Indeed, you will go through some uncomfortable stages as you let go of the forms of your life that no longer fit the new you. Even relationships must go through shifts to match your new emerging self. If you focus on the beauty and not the challenges, stop taking yourself too seriously, and choose to be playful, loving, and joyous, you will soon know the miracle your soul wants to experience through you. Today is a day for joy, so alight. Look around and see the beauty that is everywhere and in everyone, including you. Protection message. Transformation does not have to be as traumatic or dramatic as things may seem to be right now. Remember, change is the only true constant. When you resist it, you create a tension within you as you refuse to accept the inevitable. In this moment, you might have forgotten the beauty and joy of life as it moves through its seasons, as nature dictates. You are being faced with a choice now. You can struggle with the current conditions, refusing to surrender and see through the lens of lack and loss, or you can surrender to the grace that is calling you to allow life to take its course, moving through the sadness and disappointment. Surrender will soften you, inviting you to bask in gratitude and see through the lens of curiosity. These are the keys to tuning in to the infinite potential available to you now. Butterfly spirit knows the beauty and delight you are on the brink of discovering. Let go and trust that it is there for you. So I feel like it couldn't be a better message to sum up everything that came through. Thank you all for being here. Love you all so much. Hope to see you guys soon. And yeah, that's it. We'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye.